Some cruise mistakes cost you a few dollars, others cost you your safety, your vacation, or your passport. Before you sail in 2026, watch this and avoid the 20 dangerous cruise mistakes people wish they knew sooner. So you booked or you're thinking about booking a cruise in 2026. The photos look amazing, the price looks decent, and the idea of unpacking once and waking up in a new place every day, perfect. But here's the part most people don't see. A lot of cruise horror stories don't come from bad cruise lines. They come from small mistakes people make before and during the cruise. Mistakes that snowball into stress, fear, big bills, or missing the ship entirely. In this video, we're counting down 20 dangerous cruise mistakes people regret instantly, from number 20 all the way down to number 1. If you avoid these, you'll already be ahead of most first-time cruisers and a lot of experienced ones too. Let's start the countdown. Mistake number 20. Booking the wrong cruise for your travel style. One of the biggest mistakes happens before you even step on the ship. Booking a cruise that doesn't match who you are. Some cruise ships are basically floating theme parks, loud, packed, full of kids, water slides, and constant noise. Others are quiet, older crowd ships where the biggest excitement is trivia and live piano music. Neither is bad, but if you're an introvert dreaming of peaceful ocean views and you end up on a spring break style party ship, that's a week of regret. Or maybe you picture a romantic couples trip, then realize you accidentally booked during school holidays and the ship is full of kids, school groups, and jam-packed pools. Why this is dangerous? You might think this is just preference, but when you feel trapped for 7 nights on the wrong ship, it affects your mood, your sleep, your stress, and even your safety decisions. Tired, annoyed people make worse choices. How to avoid it? Look up the average age and vibe of the ship and cruise line. Check if it's known as a family ship, party ship, or relaxed older ship. Avoid peak school holidays if you want quiet. Read recent reviews, not just marketing photos. Choose the right ship for your style and you'll enjoy everything else much more. Mistake number 19, not checking passport, visa, and ID rules early. You know what's worse than a delayed vacation? A dream cruise you never step on because you're denied boarding at the port. People show up at the terminal with passports that expire too soon, names that don't match the booking, missing visas for certain ports, or only a driver's license when a passport is required. And the cruise line, they don't make exceptions. If your documents are wrong, you're not sailing. No refund, just regret. Why this is dangerous? You can lose thousands in cruise fare, flights, and hotels. You might get stuck in a foreign country with paperwork issues. Fixing it last minute is stressful, expensive, and sometimes impossible. How to avoid it? Check your passport's expiry date. Many countries require it to be valid for at least 6 months after your trip. Make sure your name on the cruise booking matches your passport exactly. Look up if you need visas for any ports on your itinerary. Print and save physical copies of your documents and have digital backups on your phone. A 10-minute document check now can save your entire cruise later. Mistake number 18, cutting it too close with flights on embarkation day. Here's a story that happens every year. Someone books a cheap early morning flight on the same day the cruise leaves. The flight gets delayed, the connection is missed, they land in the city hours after the ship has already sailed, with their luggage still on board. The cruise doesn't wait, not for you, not for anyone. Why this is dangerous? You can miss the entire cruise because of one delay. You may have to chase the ship at the next port if that's even possible. The stress of racing the clock ruins the start of your vacation. How to avoid it? If possible, fly in at least 1 day early. Book flights with a buffer, especially in winter or bad weather seasons. Avoid tight layovers when connecting through busy airports. Have a small overnight bag with essentials in case your checked luggage gets delayed. Yes, a pre-cruise hotel night costs extra, but it's cheaper than losing your entire cruise over a delayed flight. Mistake number 17, skipping travel insurance and medical coverage. A lot of people think nothing's gonna happen. It's just a cruise until someone slips, breaks a bone, gets food poisoning, or needs emergency care in the middle of the ocean. On a cruise, medical care is not free. Serious medical issues can lead to huge bills, emergency evacuations, or last-minute flights home. Why this is dangerous? Cruise ship medical centers can be very expensive. Your regular health insurance may not fully cover you at sea or in foreign ports. Emergency evacuations can cost tens of thousands of dollars. How to avoid it? Get good travel insurance that covers medical issues at sea, emergency evacuation, trip interruption and cancellation. Double-check pre-existing conditions and coverage limits. Keep a copy of your policy number and emergency contact info with you. Travel insurance isn't fun to think about until you need it. Then it's the best decision you made. Mistake number 16, choosing the wrong cabin location. Not all cabins are created equal. Some are under the pool deck, where you hear scraping chairs at 6 a.m. Some are above the nightclub, where the bass thumps until 1 a.m. Others are at the very front or back of the ship, where motion is the strongest. If you're prone to motion sickness or light sleep, the wrong cabin can turn your vacation into a week of nausea and bad sleep. Why this is dangerous? Lack of sleep and constant motion sickness make you tired, irritable, and more likely to make poor decisions. You might stop enjoying meals, activities, and ports. You'll spend more time in your cabin, which you hate. How to avoid it? If possible, choose a cabin in the middle of the ship and on a mid-level deck. This is usually the most stable area. Look at deck plans and avoid cabins directly under pools, buffet areas, the main theater or nightclub. If noise bothers you, avoid cabins near elevators and crew access doors. A well-placed cabin is like a quiet, stable home base. On a ship, that's gold. Mistake number 15, ignoring the safety drill and emergency info. Every cruise starts with a muster drill or safety briefing. Some people treat it as an annoying formality. They're on their phones, chatting, barely listening. But if something goes wrong, that information suddenly becomes priceless. Why this is dangerous? In an emergency, panic is normal. You won't think clearly. If you don't know where your muster station is or how to put on a life jacket, you'll lose precious time. You may slow down others, including families with kids or older guests. How to avoid it? Take the safety drill seriously. It lasts a few minutes. Learn your muster station location, the sound of the general emergency alarm, and how to put on your life jacket correctly. Make sure every person in your cabin, including kids and older family members, understands what to do. You hope you never need any of it, but if you do, those few minutes of attention can make a huge difference. Mistake number 14, treating hygiene casually. Buffets, elevators, handrails. Cruises bring together thousands of people in a closed environment. That means germs, colds, stomach bugs, and other illnesses can spread quickly. Some people still skip the hand washing station, touch everything, and dig into the buffet with their fingers. Not only is it gross, it's risky. Why this is dangerous? Getting sick on day 2 can wreck your whole cruise. Stomach bugs or respiratory infections spread fast in crowded areas. Being sick and stuck in your cabin is not the cruise you paid for. How to avoid it? Wash your hands often, especially before eating, after using handrails and elevator buttons. After coming back from port, use hand sanitizer, but don't rely on it alone. At buffets, only use serving utensils. Don't reuse plates. Avoid touching food directly. A simple habit like washing your hands can literally save your entire vacation. Mistake number 13, overdoing the alcohol, especially in the sun. The drink package looks tempting. Unlimited drinks all day, every day. What could possibly go wrong? Here's the truth. Sun, heat, alcohol, motion, and dehydration are a rough combo. People get dizzy, stumble on wet decks, lose their balance on stairs, or lean too far over railings, all because they underestimated how fast drinks hit them at sea. Why this is dangerous? Higher risk of falls, injuries, and accidents near pools and railings, poor judgment when dealing with strangers or risky situations, increased dehydration and heat exhaustion. How to avoid it? Pace yourself. You don't need to get your money's worth from a drink package in one day. Drink water between drinks. Be extra careful on stairs, near railings, and on wet decks after a few drinks. Set a personal limit before you start. You can absolutely enjoy a few drinks, just don't let the drinks steer your vacation. Mistake number 12, being careless with balconies and railings. Balcony cabins are amazing. Waking up to the ocean is magical, but balconies and railings are not toys or photo props. Climbing on railings, standing on balcony chairs, or holding kids up high for a cute photo is extremely dangerous. Why this is dangerous? A sudden wave or strong wind can knock you off balance. Wet surfaces make chairs and railings slippery. Kids imitate what adults do. If they see you leaning.
Mistake number 12, being careless with balconies and railings. Balcony cabins are amazing. Waking up to the ocean is magical, but balconies and railings are not toys or photo props. Climbing on railings, standing on balcony chairs, or holding kids up high for a cute photo is extremely dangerous. Why this is dangerous? A sudden wave or strong wind can knock you off balance. Wet surfaces make chairs and railings slippery. Kids imitate what adults do. If they see you leaning or climbing, they may try it too. How to avoid it? Never climb, sit, or stand on railings. Ever. Don't place balcony furniture near railings where it can be used as a step. Hold children's hands and keep them away from railings. Avoid horseplay or running near railings, especially at night or after drinking. Your balcony is for relaxing, not for risky stunts or viral videos. Mistake number 10, leaving valuables unprotected. Here's a mistake people don't realize until something goes missing. They leave passports, cash, jewelry, laptops, or expensive cameras lying around the cabin, on a deck chair, in a beach bag at the pool, or tucked under a towel at the beach in port. It only takes a second for something to disappear. Why this is dangerous. Losing a passport in a foreign country can cause huge problems. Stolen cards and cash can ruin your budget and your peace of mind. You may spend the rest of the cruise dealing with security and paperwork. How to avoid it. Use the cabin safe for passports, extra cash, and important documents. Only take what you need when going ashore. Never leave valuables unattended on deck chairs or at the pool. Use anti-theft bags or money belts in busy ports. Protect your identity and your money like you would in any big city, because cruise ports are often busy tourist zones. Mistake number 9, overspending on extras without reading the fine print. Cruises often look cheap up front, then the extras show up. Drink packages, specialty dining, Wi-Fi, spa services, excursions, gratuities, souvenirs, and photos. Suddenly, the bargain cruise feels like a money trap. Why this is dangerous. You may go home to a massive onboard bill you weren't expecting. Stress over money can kill the relaxed vacation mood. Overspending can put you into debt for months after the trip ends. How to avoid it. Before you book, check. What's included in the fare? What costs extra? Set a daily spending limit for your onboard account. Decide in advance, do you really need the drink package? Will you actually use the specialty restaurants? Is Wi-Fi essential or just nice to have? Knowing your plan before you get on board turns you from an impulse spender into a smart traveler. Mistake number 8, booking unvetted third-party shore excursions. Booking excursions through local vendors can save money and give you unique experiences, but choosing random operators without checking reviews, insurance, or safety standards is risky. Some people hop into unmarked vans, boats, or tours with no idea who's running them. Why this is dangerous. Poor safety standards can lead to accidents during activities like boating, snorkeling, or ziplining. If your private tour returns late, the ship will not wait for you. It can be harder to get help, refunds, or support if something goes wrong. How to avoid it. If booking outside the cruise line, use reputable companies with lots of recent positive reviews. Confirm they are licensed and insured. Make sure they guarantee return at least 1 to 2 hours before all aboard time. Don't be pressured by people shouting offers at the port if you're not comfortable. Saving a bit of money is not worth risking your safety or missing your ship. Mistake number 8, cutting it too close in port and getting left behind. Every cruise has an all aboard time. The latest time you must be back on the ship. People still show up late because they lose track of time in port. They don't adjust for local time versus ship time. They get stuck in traffic or stay too long at a beach, bar, or shop. And yes, the ship can and does leave without them. Why this is dangerous. Being stranded in a foreign country without your suitcase or cruise card is terrifying. You're responsible for transport and hotels until you meet the ship again, if you can. It's expensive, stressful, and ruins the rest of the cruise. How to avoid it. Always check ship time, not just local time. Set multiple alarms to remind yourself when to head back. Aim to be back at the ship at least an hour before all aboard. If you're far from the port, leave even earlier. Think of the ship as a plane. It's not waiting just because you're almost there. Mistake number 7, ignoring local laws and customs. It's easy to forget that each port you visit has its own rules. Things that are legal or ignored at home may be serious offenses elsewhere. That includes certain medications, vaping or smoking rules, alcohol laws, dress codes in religious areas, drone use, restricted items like shells, plants, or corals. Why this is dangerous. You could face fines, confiscation, or even arrest in a foreign country. The cruise line may not be able to help you out of legal trouble. Your vacation can turn into a legal nightmare instantly. How to avoid it. Before visiting a port, read a quick summary of local laws that commonly affect tourists, cultural norms, and dress codes, especially for religious sites. Be respectful of local customs. It's their home. You're a guest. Don't assume no one will care. Sometimes they do. Travel is more enjoyable when you're informed and respectful. Mistake number 6, not preparing for weather and seasickness. People see sunny cruise photos and assume every day will be blue skies and calm water. But cruises can sail through rain, wind, and choppy seas. If you're not prepared, seasickness can hit hard. Why this is dangerous. Severe seasickness can leave you dehydrated, weak, and miserable. You might avoid eating or drinking enough, making things worse. In rough seas, staggering around can increase your risk of falls. How to avoid it? Make packing seasickness options, such as wristbands, motion sickness tablets with doctor's advice if needed, or ginger candies. Stick to midship and lower decks if you're sensitive to motion. Avoid heavy, greasy meals when the sea is rough. Get fresh air and look at the horizon if you start feeling queasy. Weather is unpredictable, but your preparation doesn't have to be. Mistake number 5, overpacking the wrong things and forgetting essentials. Some people bring half their wardrobe but forget the basics that actually matter. They pack too many fancy outfits, multiple pairs of heels, bulky items they never use, and forget medicines, sunscreen, plug adapters or extra chargers, a small first aid kit, motion sickness remedies. Why this is dangerous. Important items can be hard to find or very expensive on the ship. You may not have what you need when you need it, especially at night or at sea. Overpacking makes your cabin cluttered and stressful. How to avoid it? Make a packing checklist focused on health and comfort, weather, shoes you can actually walk in. Make outfits you can mix and match. Bring a small carry-on bag with a change of clothes, medications, swimwear, chargers, and important documents. If your luggage is delayed, your carry-on can save your first day. Mistake number 4, being rude to crew or afraid to ask for help. Cruise ship crew work incredibly hard. Some guests treat them like punching bags when something goes wrong. Others stay silent even when they're uncomfortable, confused, or unhappy with something. Both extremes are bad. Why this is dangerous? Being rude or aggressive doesn't solve problems, it can make situations more tense. Not speaking up if you feel unsafe or unwell can delay help you genuinely need. Crew are trained to help, but they can't read your mind. How to avoid it? Be polite and respectful. Remember, they're people, not robots. If your cabin doesn't feel secure, a neighbor is dangerously loud or disruptive, you feel unwell or unsafe, tell the crew, guest services, or security. Ask questions if you're unsure about procedures, times, or rules. Kindness and communication go a long way on a ship. Mistake number 3. Letting kids roam completely unsupervised. A cruise can feel safe because it's a closed environment, but that doesn't mean kids should roam freely without any supervision or boundaries. Kids can get lost on unfamiliar decks, wander near pools without lifeguards, enter adult-only areas, interact with strangers without you noticing. Why this is dangerous? Pools and decks can be slippery and unguarded. Kids may get into elevators, outside areas, or railings unsupervised, and a few minutes of distraction is all it takes for something serious to happen. How to avoid it? Set clear rules about where your kids can and cannot go. Use the ship's kids club or youth programs if available. If your kids have phones, agree on check-in times and locations. Teach them not to go into other cabins, to find a crew member if they feel unsafe or lost. Your kids can have fun and freedom just within safe limits. Mistake number 2, staying silent when something feels off. You notice a strange smell like burning or chemicals, someone acting aggressively or suspiciously, a wet floor where people keep slipping, or a medical issue that's getting worse, not better. But you think, it's probably nothing. I don't want to bother anyone. This is a mistake. Why this is dangerous?
Mistake number 2, staying silent when something feels off. You notice a strange smell like burning or chemicals, someone acting aggressively or suspiciously, a wet floor where people keep slipping, or a medical issue that's getting worse, not better. But you think, it's probably nothing. I don't want to bother anyone. This is a mistake. Why this is dangerous? Small problems can turn into emergencies when no one speaks up. Crew and security can't be everywhere. They rely on guests to report concerns. Delaying medical help can make illnesses or injuries more serious. How to avoid it? If something feels wrong, say something. Tell a crew member. Call guest services from your cabin. Don't downplay your own symptoms. If you feel very unwell, get checked. Trust your instincts. It's better to over-report than stay silent. You're not annoying anyone by raising valid concerns. You're helping keep the ship safer. Mistake number 1, treating a cruise like a completely hands-off vacation. Here's the biggest mistake of all, treating a cruise like a theme park where you can just switch off your brain, ignore all the details, and hope for the best. No planning, no research, no reading the daily schedule or important notices, just vibes. That attitude is exactly what leads to missed ships, huge surprise bills, safety scares, and regrets people talk
about for years. Why this is dangerous? In a small floating city, your choices matter. Not paying attention to rules, times, and safety info puts you at risk. You're still responsible for your documents, health, and behavior, even on vacation. How to avoid it? Think of your cruise as a fun adventure that still needs a little strategy. Take 10 to 15 minutes each day to read the daily program, note important times like all aboard, shows, and meal hours. Check any updates or announcements. Make smart decisions, not rushed ones, about money, safety, and excursions. When you combine common sense with a little planning, cruising becomes what it's meant to be: relaxing, exciting, and unforgettable for all the right reasons. So there you have it. 20 dangerous cruise mistakes people regret instantly, and now you know exactly how to avoid them on your next cruise in 2026. If you remember nothing else, remember this: a cruise can be one of the easiest, most relaxing trips you ever take if you respect the basics: your documents, your safety, your timing, and your common sense. Plan a little, pay attention, speak up when something feels off. Do that, and you'll spend your days enjoying sunsets, good food, and new ports instead of dealing with problems you could have avoided. If this helped you feel more prepared for your next cruise, hit like so more future cruisers see it, subscribe for more travel and cruise tips for 2026 and beyond, and tell me in the comments which mistake surprised you the most, or which one have you seen people make in real life. Thanks for watching, and have an amazing and safe cruise.